So, hello everyone, and this was the video everyone was waiting for: student dorms or where to live in Vienna as a student. Let me just tell you three main options you have, depending on your goals and the time of staying in Vienna. So the first option is booking an apartment or a flat for just a week or two if your trip is short term. So for example, you're traveling to Vienna to take an exam or sort out the visa documents. Because this is the pandemic, everything is very uncertain, and you just might be looking for a short stay somewhere for any reasons. Then you also have the student dorms, which will provide you the student life to its fullest, the experience and so on, and I will talk about them in more detail as we go on with this video. And the third option, which is not for everyone, is a shared apartment, or called WG Zimmer, like a shared rooms, shared flats in Vienna, which you can rent with people you know or you don't. So the thing about them is basically it's a flat. You will have your own bedroom and maybe your own study space, but you will share a kitchen and the bathroom with 2 or 3, maybe even 4 other people. You might know and might not know those people. So if you have friends from Vienna, or you have friends after 1 year studies at BBE and you want to move in with them to share the flat to save money and to spend more time together, you can look at this option, of course, and just go for it, do some research, contact the apartment owners and so on. But if you're just one person and you're looking to live in a shared apartment and you want it, and you have to be aware that some things can go wrong if you don't know the people you're gonna live. Usually you have interviews with them, or you meet them beforehand, before signing the contract or moving in. But again, you might live with people for a long period of time who have different habits, different sleep routines. Maybe some people like to leave a messy kitchen after the breakfast, or listen to the music really loudly in the shower and so on. And you might just not fit, and after just 1 month of living together, you'll be so fed up with your neighbors and so annoyed by them that you will regret this decision for a long, long time. Shared apartments are basically for anyone, so it can be students from university, from other universities and so on. So be aware of that problem some people encounter, and it's usually more time consuming and you need more documents and to do extra steps than booking a dorm. So make sure you know your stuff, you do your research, and you're ready for such a decision, because it might turn out not so good as you thought it might be. Then there is the student dorm, which is the safest, but the most used option, the most popular option, because Vienna has 200,000 students and they all need a place to live, and that's usually a student dorm. So basically they're required to give you a room if they have free space. And for example, a shared flat, which you will just rent, they're not required to do so. It's up to the owner of the flat or up to the people who already live there. So in the student dorm, let's come back to them. Student dorms. So basically there are hundreds and hundreds of student dorms all around Vienna, almost in every corner, and their prices range for 2 different reasons. For example, reason number 1 is how close the dorm is to the city center and VU in general, and the further away it is, the less expensive it gets. For example, a dorm near VU might cost around 700 euros per month, and a dorm, let's say in the new region Zestadt, which is just being built and probably has the cheapest dorms in Vienna, might have a fee of 300 euros per month. So again, the prices range approximately from 300 euros until 800 euros per month, depending on other aspects and preferences you have. Also, you might choose to live in a room with another person. So basically you have 2 bedrooms, which you don't share, they're completely different rooms, and a study space in them, like a table and a chair there. And then you also have to share the kitchen and the bathroom. So it's a little bit safer than a shared apartment, just from my experience, just from personal thoughts and so on. It can vary a lot. You're gonna share it with a student, and it's gonna be the same gender of the student. It's either boy, boy, or girl, and it's not more than 2 people, usually, as a 90% rule, basically. And here the same problems as the shared apartment. You can either get on really well with your neighbor and become really good friends, go out together and so on, or you can not like that person so much because they take up all the storage space, or they don't wash the dishes after themselves and so on, because you're still going to share the kitchen and the bathroom, but the 2 of you will share it. And 80% of stories of people I know and people who live with another person are great, successful stories. They're really happy and they became friends and traveled to other countries, maybe together even, so you can range. And other people are not so content. And imagine you get sick or the other person gets sick, and the possibility of you catching the cold or whatever sickness it is from the other person when you live together is very, very high. Or they might listen to music, or like they might distract you from studying or taking an exam and so on. So if you're gonna do that, it's gonna be less expensive, of course, but it has some risks, and it just depends on the kind of person you are, the more extroverted or introverted you are, how you negotiate with people and so on. And the other option, quite popular option, is just a studio room where it's everything to yourself. So you have a bedroom, a study place, and the kitchen in kind of one big room. And then you have the bathroom with a shower, a sink, and a toilet just to yourself. And you don't share it with anyone else. And it's usually more expensive if you do that. But yeah, it's basically a studio apartment just for you, which is also kind of great. And you also have to pick a dorm. If you're picking a dorm and you get, okay, I want a bit further away from Wood to kind of save some money. You can pick a dorm, just try to pick a dorm closest to the metro station, because the public transportation in Vienna is just amazing, and you only pay 75 euros per semester, so per 6 months to use it. And the closer your dorm is to the metro station, the easier life you will have. And also, if it's on the purple line of the metro, if you just open up the metro map of Vienna, if it's on the purple line, you won't have to switch from one metro to another, like from station to station. And yeah, I will explain it in the description below in more detail. For example, in Zestadt, it's very far away from the city center, but the road to Wu is really simple. You just like sit on the metro and you just ride it until it reaches Wu metro stop. You don't have to switch anywhere, you don't have to go, just sit in one like metro wagon and you just go for like 20 or 30 minutes. So we have that covered. And when picking a dorm, very important, or picking any housing in general, is looking at the contract before signing it. The most important thing about the contract is the cancellation policy. If you're thinking, oh well, I'm gonna live there from October to, let's say, June, and then I'm gonna go to my home country for the summer holidays, and I'm just gonna cancel the contract, not to pay 2 or 3 months of staying where I'm not there, for example, summer holidays, because most dorms have yearly contracts. You usually cannot do that because dorms are very well aware of that, and they would have lost so much money if they did that. So there is cancellation policy, and it is different for every single dorm. So you have to ask the concierge or the dorm keeper in person, email them or look it up on the website, just to make sure you don't kind of run into troubles. Most of the time you will just end up paying for 2 or 3 months you're not there, and keeping the room to yourself, and then maybe prolonging the contract for the next year. But yeah, you will have to look it up and ask. This is a very important thing because people might run into troubles about that, regarding that thing. And the deposit, you also have to kind of pay for the first 2 or 3 months, I guess, in rent price, and put it on your account. So in case you break anything, they can charge you off and not give you the full deposit back once you decide to leave the apartment or the dorm. Also, the dorms will give you a very student vibe. Like, it will have community kitchens, so kitchens where you can cook together with your people, with like your friends, fellow dorm members, and you have like big tables, ovens, storage space for everything, to give you kind of this community feel, meet new people in your dorm who you live close to. Some dorms have just one big kitchen, and some people have kitchens on each floor, depending on which dorm you pick, again, your preferences. And because in your studio apartment you won't have, for example, an oven, and there will be like, let's say, 4 or 3 ovens in the community kitchen. They will also have like most of the dorms have gyms, either free of charge or for a little extra payment. And maybe some dorms have music rooms with like pianos, guitars and drums. Other dorms have party rooms, which you can just go and have like a party with your friends, or you can book the whole room just for yourself and your friend group if you're having a birthday celebration, for example, for a very small fee. If you have the possibility to travel to Vienna and look at the dorm, like maybe you don't like the smell, the vibe, whatever, use it. So what you have to do is check the dorm keeper or the concierge working hours, like when they are there, and then just go up to them and ask them for a tour. They will give you one around the room, around the dorm, explain you everything. They're really friendly and open people. And if you have any further questions, any personal questions, maybe some difficulties you have, just email the dorm directive. They usually answer in 2 to 3 working days. They don't ignore your emails for months. So yeah, any question you have, just ask them directly. It's not going to hurt anyone. And there's also a possibility to have people over at your dorm for a week or two. If it's your parents, your relatives, or your friends, you just have to contact the dorm and let them know someone else is staying at your place. So for example, your friend who's just coming to visit Vienna for 3 or 4 days doesn't have to pay for the hotel room if you're, like, again, very comfortable with them sharing a bed together or like sharing the room. That was the main things I wanted to tell you about student life and living in Vienna. Again, do the research. I also will put a map of the main dorms in Vienna, like the main dorms I heard about, and I have people who live there, know people who live there. They will give you just a starting point of what to look for, of how the dorms usually look, their prices, and so on. So yeah, go to my Instagram, there is all sort of useful stuff there. It will be linked down below, and have a great day. See you! And just one more thing before I forget, the reservation fee. Basically, you don't know you're accepted to a university, let's say, before the middle of July for most of them. And you're wondering, am I going to have enough time to look for a dorm and book a place and it's going to be like all free? Most of the dorms will have free spaces. No, most of the dorms will be booked by that time and it's going to be challenging to find a place. Still possible, but challenging. So what you can do is research, pick the dorms you like, and reserve a place for a reservation fee, which can range like from 20 euros to, let's say, 200 euros to keep a spot for you. If you don't take the spot, they won't give you the reservation fee back because you took somebody else's potential spot. But if you do come back, they will just either return you the money of the reservation fee or count it as your rent for other months. So yeah, be aware of that. There is the possibility of reserving a place even before you find out you get accepted or not. So yeah, that's a very important thing not to forget. So do your research now. It's not too early right now because the dorms get booked up so quickly. And best of luck with that.